Peace, 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 peace. Ooh, sound feeling real good. Let out this window. I think y'all getting it right now. Let me get some of this good gum flavor before I do this video. Anywho, get some of this sound too. Bro, peace and greetings to all. Let me say this, man. Whew. Shout out to those of you that are aware of like cycle breakers. Well, let's give an honor to Source, the creator of Most High. All this shit to be made possible. Listen, shout out to the healers, man. Healers is a term for people who face their shadows, know what it is to integrate or transmute they shadow, meaning that they subconscious fears, ancestral shit, generational stuff. I don't know how much I can do on this video because you know iPhones be talking about how full your shit be and they want you to buy more storage. I ain't doing it. But anywho, shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to us people have no idea the patience we be having to have. I came across this video, it's like, it said something like, along down the lines of like, when the healer done with you, they done. And like I said, they can be a shadow, they can be a person who work with, you know, the shadows of themselves, like the dark parts of themselves, like the shit that people don't know, that what you going through spiritually, the uncomfortability of facing things and trying to hold space for your healing. Y'all don't realize, bro, motherfuckers get tired, bro. For real. Once the people get to that point where it's like, look, one of my most challenging things was being able to shut the door to shit that I should have never held the door for too long for. Shut the door and keep it closed. And that shit, man, listen. That video, that sister was saying, once a healer done with you, it's a wrap. I don't think y'all realize, like, y'all don't be knowing people background, what they went through, how they got there. We live in a world that easily so judgmental, so sensitive, without really having accountability for their own shit first. And so people easily want to say, easily can speak on other people's circumstances rather than their own. Man, she was mentioning in that video, like, the clarity I got, what I went through in business, what I went through in relationships, just in partnerships, family dynamics, where it's like, you realize, you know, your belief systems and how these self-sabotaging belief systems led you to even being in the space of what a healer is, or what it is to face generational traumas, or unresolved traumas, unresolved emotions, that people have no idea what this journey consists of. What it means to take on such a load and having to unpack shit that no one knows about in your solitude. Y'all have no idea. People, like, I've gotten to that place, man. It's like, when you feel unappreciated, when you don't feel celebrated, where in times where you can be in a dynamic or anything in life and you just don't have the room for the bullshit no more. You don't have the room for the games. You don't have the room for people complaining about, let's say, a price. You don't have the room for people complaining about, you know, the duration of how long something should take. Like, man, I've been in situations taking on, like, having to do something with my creations and having to tell people, like, yo, I have to put my whole life aside. Like, I could be going through a transition. I could be going through something to where I'm not able to get to it right now. And, you know, I got to that place where it's almost like, I don't even give a fuck, bro. Bro, this humanity has got to go through things where y'all realize, like, how ungrateful y'all really are, how unappreciative y'all really are. I'm not throwing a stone, but I'm bringing shit to awareness of the fact of like my demographic showed me like even though a part of it was kind of survival, man, I was still grateful for shit. I was still grateful for the smallest thing because I know what it is to see my grandmother struggle, go through things. I know what it is to see people who even proclaim to have more than people still struggle with self-identity. Still struggle with internal shit even though they came off as if they had it better. I see people take advantage of people, bro. Like, I've seen things to where I had to recognize myself like, yo, sometimes we can take on self-sabotaging belief systems, don't even realize like, yo, it always come back full circle. And when you get tired, when you feel unappreciated, not celebrated, feel a sense of belonging, y'all don't realize like people that are healers, people that do, whatever type of spiritual services or whatever services that they offer, y'all don't be knowing what it takes for those people to put food on the table, for those people to go through things when they don't even know what's gonna happen, and have this unwavering faith and believing that the favor that they have, believing more in the favor and the faith than anything. Instead of like, y'all don't know the circumstances people go through where artists and people have been taken advantage of in community settings, in settings where sometimes politically, family, all that. And people break free from that. That's a challenge. You have to grieve that shit. I had to sit back and be like, bro, listen, I don't care if I'm liked or accepted. Y'all have no idea when you know you have to go through things where people have taken advantage of you and they feel like they can get over on you. And then once you start standing in your power, oh, now you the enemy. Now you the worst person in the world. Now, so what? I'm telling y'all, man, like, that's why I always encourage people, like, take a moment, go away. I be encouraging people, take solo trips, do something, go away. Because sometimes I do give people grace because I can just tell from their upbringing that some of their caregivers never taught them the importance of being grateful, having gratitude, and that's what's one of the most important things that's missing in humanity and society. Y'all not grateful for shit. That's the importance of principles and morals. Y'all give y'all kids so much stuff, and what a cycle I've been seeing, y'all constantly give them material things and not stressing, I don't want to say stressing, not pouring into them the importance of knowing that shit fades away. Even beauty. The importance of knowing who they are through those situations, man. I'm going to tell you, this is how I'm able to even share my story, share my journey and so forth, and come in here to be empowering and hold myself accountable. It's because I can honestly say, it don't matter what comes from anywhere, no matter how much I obtain, I've learned and have learned over time for a while to have a spirit of gratitude. Grateful for having somewhere to be, but not becoming complacent, not comfortable. But learning to have a smile and learning to make the best of it through certain situations. Y'all need to teach that to y'all. Y'all need to implement that and teach these kids that life happens. It's just like when you look at nature and the weather, because then they gonna grow up and you pissed off because you haven't taught them morals and principles and importance of being grateful for this food on the fucking table, being grateful that you have 2 or 3 outfits, being grateful that you have some lights. Like an attitude of gratitude, man. When I sit back and I see people go through things, I'm like, wow. You can tell they either came from some type of money, but no principles or morals. They came from certain things. I've talked to people daily, and I be like, man, I give you grace because I can tell, it ain't your fault, but you probably came from something where you ain't really went through no shit. You ain't went through nothing. That's what the elders used to say. Old folks used to say, I don't like to call them old, but I respect them. The elders used to say, you ain't went through nothing yet. Boy, you a young whippersnapper. You still wet behind the ears. I know exactly what they mean now. Ears just as dry as a mother. Nah. But yeah, like, again, going back to what I'm saying, it's like, as you gradually, like I said, well, there's on videos I say you got people growing older and some people growing wiser. And one of my business partners, or just great, beautiful person I know, we were just talking about how like we are the new elders, man. Because a lot of these elders that are going out, they're so stuck in their ways, they so prideful, they're so, and it's literally, I've already accepted this. It's why I don't even be seeing why, in most cases, why I get support from them, because I realize we're establishing something they've never seen. They're not willing to conform to or willing to even support at times. And it's not all of them. But a lot of us, even though we're early in age, we're still wise in spirit. And I think a lot of our elders, they didn't get, I know I'm using the term tired, but I don't really I feel like a lot of them didn't realize the generation like before us they don't realize the importance when I be telling y'all about well-being, like the importance of your well-being, because they so used to going out, working, doing like stuff that really keeps them at a place, and they come home frustrated, never really sitting with themselves, get up and do the same robotic shit, never really sitting with themselves. And then I see people, their kids, doing the same thing. They literally feel like working for a living. Like living. How does that sound? Instead of literally building something stable. That's been one of the biggest things that have been so challenging of this transition or this things in my life. I realized that I was restoring something stable within myself and within my lineage, or even restoring something that was of longevity. And with that, I had to remove a lot of people. Because a lot of people don't get, like, I wasn't taught to close doors. I wasn't taught vetting process. The belief system that I grew up on, it was just to let everything come in with no fucking boundaries, with no respect for yourself. And reason being because I didn't have healthy or consistent men in my life to show me how it is and what it is to be a man. And so it's so easy for people to judge young men and young women who never had it, but somehow we have this unwavering faith, we have this resilience, we stay consistent, and the beauty of it is like, that's what empowers me. People that subscribe to say they're healers and not these fake ass ones that y'all gonna see come out soon who's just doing it just to prey on your wounds and just to get money. No, the ones who really do this, the ones such as myself that really face certain things, y'all only see me here. And I always remind people, like, you just now coming in on my chapter, you have no idea who I am. You have no idea what I've experienced, why I feel the need to go away, to go be somewhere and just relax. Because why? I've never seen no man in my family do that shit. I've never seen women in my family do that. So maybe I might be the first one to do that, to create a life around that, so that my daughter can be able to create a life around, and my son to be able to create a life around what they love to do, not what society and everybody else is telling them to do, pressuring them to be something that doesn't reflect their sole purpose, or doesn't reflect, just their purpose here. And I've always said, you see that early. I'm seeing it early when you pay attention. And that's the thing where a lot of our elders, they didn't pay attention really. They were so caught up in what they did not receive, their woundedness, and they did not pay attention to us enough to know that some of us are here because they didn't finish, they had unfinished business, unresolved traumas, unresolved karma. Some of us are here as healers, practitioners, spiritualists, whatever you want to call it. A lot of us are here to literally finish out karmically, clear our energies, build something stable. Because if shit was so stable, why is everything happening the way it is right now? Y'all elders, answer me that. If y'all was in so much integrity and authenticity, why aren't what you're doing, which y'all sit back and don't talk nothing about, everything that you're doing is falling apart and being dismantled? And you get offended because here some of us are here to want to talk to you about our traumas, that, things that are unresolved. We tired of y'all too. Don't give a fuck. It is what it is. A lot of you elders don't hold, y'all gatekeep shit. A lot of y'all in position where you serving two masters. Because you ain't master over yourself. You ain't master nothing. You master manipulation. You master bullshit. And you continuously feed the youth that. Until some of us are here now as the cycle breakers and generational curse breakers and people to see y'all bullshit, to call y'all out on it. Yeah, you, whomever you are, I don't care if you're a pastor, I don't care if you're an athlete, I don't care who you are. I will call you out on your shit. Because that's accountability. That's brotherhood. That's sisterhood. Because if I care about you, as I always quote James Baldwin, if I care about you, I'm going to make you aware of the things you don't see or you're not consciously aware of. And I cannot say we came from a generation that held us accountable for shit. And so now I hear people saying, well, this is a generation that don't want to listen to nobody. Well, I wonder why. I wonder why, because we have to learn to listen to ourselves now, because y'all misguided us and don't want to take no accountability. This is not all, but most of you know who I'm talking about. Just because we don't want to be religious, just because we tap into our ancestors and you turn away from them because we want to do something differently. You turned away from the legacy and became self-righteous and became you more focused outwardly rather than inwardly. Again, serving two masters. Now that y'all shit crumbling, y'all so prideful, y'all don't even want to be honest with us, your kids, with the generation after, because y'all ready to take it to the grave, to eat y'all ass up inside. Then y'all expecting us to do the same. I refuse to lie to myself, and let alone the youth, young women and men. No, I don't want to join y'all groups. I said it before, I don't want to join shit of y'all, especially when I know what this shit consists of. Nah, I don't want to be a part of none of it. Me being me is a part of it all, the grand scheme of it all, the bigger picture. So yeah, I see the youth coming to people who they're gonna be guided to the authenticity. They don't respect and honor y'all because y'all lie. Let's be real. I don't care what your status is. I don't care how much money you have. Y'all full of shit. And it shows. And people starting to smell it. That's why a lot of y'all stuff is dismantled. You know, I stand for spiritual justice. I don't gotta, If it's uncomfortable, turn it off. Turn away. So what? The truth ain't never cared about nobody's emotions. Life goes on. And I'm grateful when the world is cleansed of you deceitful ass people, you manipulative ass people and energies and beings. And it's being cleansed now spiritually and physically. For you mothers and fathers. Y'all not walking in integrity. Y'all not holding yourself accountable, because you would be holding your kids accountable, even still trying to plant some type of seed, instead of watching them fall right into the damn ditch. Knowing that you could have said something, knowing you could have did something, and then turn right around, I told you so. No, you didn't. And there's many of us out here, very few of us, that know exactly what's going on. We just sit back and observe, and we know exactly who people are. I be sitting back and be like, man, oh, here them mother joining this now, just because they run out of money now. Now that shows me, oh, money their whole time was that they idolized money. Like I said, I ain't in y'all business, but I don't want to. The company you keep, and I'm my own company and business. Like when that sister said, you know, y'all don't realize a lot of us, as we face a lot of things, cycle breaking, we closing the door to shit. When we don't feel appreciated in countries, in places, in environments, people want us to join and be a part of stuff because of what? Because of what I look like? Because of my creativity and so forth? Nah, man, them days is done. That shit, them timelines, all them cycles are done with the, you know, going into spaces where we're not celebrating and appreciating. No matter how uncomfortable it is. Fuck it. That's what the divine steps in, and something will be revealed. I've always been trusted and known I'm always taken care of. I'll always be divinely guided and protected. Y'all can't hide no more. No one can hide. No one is exempt from karma. Cycles, boy, I'm telling you, it's a real thing when you are a healer or a cycle breaker. And people expect you. There's an expectancy that, oh, you're just supposed to trauma bond. You're just supposed to accept the fact of, you know how patient a healer is? You know how patient someone who breaks cycles are? Not only do we got to be patient with the ignorance of people who are unaware, who are unconscious of what the fuck they're doing, we have to have more patience with ourselves. We have to hold spaces for ourselves. Y'all never seen that. Y'all so quick to judge people's situations just because they come on somewhere or be honest on social media. Whatever it is. No one's asking for a cookie or a handout. No. Y'all not realizing, like, the thing that what's most important as cycle breakers and healers is, like, we have to face first. We have to face things first before y'all even think that y'all can just, what are they talking about? Y'all, we're not expecting you to catch on. We know in divine timing it will. That's where the patient comes in. Is that we know a lot of you not aware of certain shit. And we still don't judge. And we still have to hold space just so we can show up. So shout out to everyone on the platform that ain't looking for certain things, but then y'all be tripping because people like have a price or have something or trying to live a certain way, because they want to live whether it's a luxurious life or a stable life, and y'all bother with that. Because we face a lot of emotions and come out of survival mentality and breaking cycles that y'all don't even see. Having the most uncomfortable conversation with ourself and God, creator, source. Then having to have the certain conversations with the people who we have grew up with the most, who have given us these fucking self-sabotaging belief systems. And then here we is trying to sometimes convince them, like, look, I don't want to be this way, but I got to walk away from you. I got to close this door because you're not getting it. Then that can become very lonely sometimes, and then that's when we have to go within, and then that's when we have to have a more healthy, that makes us go towards a healthy conversation with the Most High, because y'all never going to get it. And that's a deep grievances that we got to go through with that shit. Accepting the fact of, like, they may not ever get it. So what? Life goes on. Plant the seed anyway. Move forward. Love yourself. You know how challenging it is to teach a youth, to teach people, like, hey, yo, I didn't come from love, but I learned to love myself. I learned to hold space for myself. That's all that I'm learning to do, is to hold space and create space more for the person that I want to become. And how can I do that? How can we do that? Y'all think that people just supposed to pour their services out and get nothing in return? No. Moments are changing. Things are becoming they're shifting spiritually. The same way y'all gave to a world and to people who were not authentic, who did not walk in integrity, who didn't give a fuck about who you were. If y'all think that people are not going to desire that and deserve that, then move around. Y'all can show all this fake ass appreciation and support to people that care nothing about your well-being internally. But when it really comes to people who are offering their services, their currency spiritually, who pour their hearts out into their services, whether it's their arts in so many ways, their music and so forth, in a conscious way to elevate humanity, the collective. And y'all be trying to give people y'all ass to kiss? No. We closing doors to that. I command for a lot of you that know that what you're doing. Close doors to these people. Close your door on parts of humanity of people who do not appreciate you, who do not celebrate what you're doing. I didn't say idolize. I said celebrate. You deserve to be celebrated. For all the Y'all don't know the pain healers and people, cycle breakers have endured, and even the pain you don't see on platforms, the things that they have to face, the shit they have to grieve through with a mother who will never heal, a father who will never get their perspective, a family who will never change their dysfunctional ways. And we're asked to have patience. We're asked to hold space for even their ignorance. We're asked to have grace. And some of y'all have no idea for that. We have to have, idea what that means or look like. We have to have grace for humanity. Because a lot of us are here to assign to actually show up for ourselves first, because y'all don't know how to do it. There's nothing in society that tells you to show up for yourself, because that's automatically crucified. That's automatically put on a back burner. And that's what y'all asking people to do. There's a lot of elders and shit don't even know how to be accountable and navigate their own emotions. And they're asking their kids they're quick to play the victim. And a lot of y'all do the same thing when you asking for service for people. Well, I'm not able to do this. Okay, we get it. Everybody not able to offer certain services. But there is certain things you can do as a healthy exchange. Trade. Certain things that are returning. Everything don't have to be about money. If you have a service, you can offer a different service for that person in exchange. It ain't always got to be about money. Y'all been so focused externally, y'all have no idea who y'all are. Because that's what people that are in tune know what spiritual currency is. It's abundant. There is no limitations on what we can do individually and together. There is no limitation. Look at what you've been through. Some things we ain't even supposed to survive. I've already gotten out the worst of what it is karmically. And I'm sitting here be able to make videos and create the life that I know I deserve. And how do I create that? I have to weed out the people and the belief systems even within myself that were self-sabotaging, that was not reciprocal, that was not supportive genuinely, that was not, honoring who I was at the core. So I'm not surprised when people spin the block or come back around. Okay, I appreciate you. I'm grateful for that lesson. But move around. Because there comes a time and a point, at a moment in people's life, a lot of people that can relate to this, where they were walked all over, where they were taken advantage of. And until you realize that standing in your power and taking back your power is doing the opposite of that, it's not letting people who will want to return think they have the opportunity, whether they feel they've changed or not, the ball is in your court. That's your truth this time around. You've seen them, and I'm not here to determine whether they did this or did that. No, it's this time around where you can honor your truth and say, you know what, I maybe don't want to go down that road again. I want to close this door to this. I want to close this chapter. Or I maybe want to create something differently. But what's most important, you don't have to take on that karma or that lesson to think you got to go down there, because all you got to do is ask the divine to reveal to you who's who. And it grants you the grace and strength to be able to walk away and grieve through it. Honor your emotions. But know that, again, the peace that you will obtain through that, the clarity, the love for yourself. Because as you cannot forget about, we no longer will continue to create cycles of holding space for other people rather than ourselves first. No, fuck that. Because we grew up around people who taught us that. To always support people, to always be of service to people rather than ourselves first. It is a balance. Look at all y'all now burnt the fuck out. A lot of y'all burnt out. Then you had elders who teach y'all to burn yourself out. Never rest. Never do this. Because a lot of people are not ready to go through transitions, the uncomfortability of having to go without certain things just to build something more stable, more long, that has to do with longevity. Because that would consist of removing people, weeding people out that do not reflect that same core value, that do not reflect that same mindset. But the more you get consistent with it, the easier it'll become. Snip, 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 easy. Moving forward. Then they'll be replaced. Because then you will meet other people, which I've gradually been grateful for, they'll tell you their story, and you'll be like, okay, I can relate. I can relate to that. So it won't be no more, oh, well, I ain't gotta worry about that person taking advantage of me. No, because I can relate to know that they probably went through something. And you can decree and declare that you both agreeing like, okay, you know what? I believe we're here to do something greater. But I noticed you went through this. You hold this space not only for yourself, but for them as well, because you realize it may not be the same story, but it's a similar energy to where, again, we're not here to take advantage of each other. Because I realized I was in a space. I was in an energy before. So now we can grow. Now we can expand. Everybody who say that they've changed or say da 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 and they're not really showing with action, honestly, my perspective is bullshit. And this is something we should have had learned young. And a lot of us were not protected very young. So I get a lot of us has to go through these uncomfortable moments where we've had to rebuild as healers, cycle breakers, and people who are into certain arts or whatever. People who are genuinely knowing what it is to acknowledge the dark of what they went through and in their generation to be able to be a guiding light. It's a balance. Y'all expect people to take y'all shit and just be walked all over. No, that's not what it is to be a divine masculine and feminine. Because you have to also see what you were enabling, the wounded part of the masculine and the feminine, to be able to now stand in something that is more stable. Even if it, again, y'all look at people's life and just because someone tell you they're transitioning, going through something, y'all automatically assume they're unstable. It's not to say a person wasn't unstable in a position where emotionally and so forth, but y'all judge before or walk away before you actually saw that person greatness, before you actually saw that path unfold, where you still could have been a part of the support there, and then want to come back around and congratulate and be supportive, and you know that you've been watching a lot of people. You know that you could have been supporting some type of way. And I'm not judging. I just see this a lot. I see it a lot. And I'm not blaming. I have grace. But y'all expecting people to be so forgiving when forgiveness is not just for you first, but for the person. But that person, forgiveness comes with acknowledgement. When I forgive myself for putting myself in certain situations, that's grace. I have to have grace. I have to hold space for that part of myself. I wasn't taught that. So I can continue to spread to the young men that you don't have to feel guilty and shame because you didn't have a father figure. You didn't have that person there to show you certain things. And then once we learn as healers or cycle breakers or generational curse breakers and so forth, these very things that are important to keep and protect ourselves from the very energies, from the very people who are unconsciously aware of what they're doing, or even for the ones who are intentionally sending the evil eye or projecting, or family members and so forth. People don't get to this place to just feel like they gonna take bullshit or just keep thinking like they're gonna play games with you. No. It don't matter how emotional you get and beg and plead. Once that door is closed, it's closed. So don't even think that when you spin the block, when you know, I'm a firm believer, or know that the elders used to tell me, if a person care and they're gonna do something, they're gonna show you. It ain't even gonna be all that lip action. Demonstration. Actions speak louder than words. If they're really gonna show you, they would have done it already. They would have done it. It's just like a child. They don't hesitate to show you love or show you some type of action or admiration, whatever it is. For a lot of y'all, I give you grace because some of y'all didn't have the demonstration. Y'all didn't have the consistency. But for some, I know a lot of people set back. And this year is so vital for a lot of us, depending on who you are, is because you know a lot of people set back. They did. And be very discerning, because that's a beautiful thing that comes with being a cycle breaker and a healer or whomever that goes in tune, that's very in tune. You're discerning. Your intuition is a gift. Discernment is a gift. It is not a curse. Honor yourself. Be truthful. If you know you're uncomfortable in that environment or this certain place, be discerning. You don't have to trust every smile. We were not taught these things. Some people come with a smile and their intentions is to just be very malicious. Is that the word? Be very malice. Oh yeah, malicious, yeah. Or be just because they're hurting or they're jealous or so many other things. I had to deep reflect on a lot of stuff to realize, like, wow, if this person really cared as much as they say they did, they would have tried. If this other person supported you or whatever, they would have been there on your way up. When you did climb up, whether it's a ladder and, you know, they were too focused on you were higher, not realizing you're still going together, or you threw the rope down, you climbed up and you threw the rope, and some people chose not to climb up, they chose to do something else with it. Because I don't want to, you know, put that message out there, but, you know, I'd rather use a ditch analogy, you know, and I've been seeing that shit very, man, the enemy has been doing, like, not even just the enemy, is that the Most High, I'm a firm believer when they say the Most High will make your enemies your footstool. I'm not kidding. Like how things cycle back and come back through, the dog even knows. When things come back through, bro, it is so prominent where certain things that when people were against you, you didn't even know, man, that energy comes back in some type of way, whether it's right then, right there, or years later. Like that, bro, if I ain't ever not known the importance of universal law, I'm grateful. And that's one thing I would encourage a lot of you youth and people. Man, don't sit out here and be trying to be a trendsetter and laugh and pick at people on the internet because you know nothing about their circumstances. Or even just because you see someone on the street, or just because you see someone in a situation, and don't ever think that the Most High won't put you in a place like that just so you can learn. What do y'all think all of this is about? I'm not saying that your life has to be that. I'm just saying, do not be, judgment is never for us. Now, there are those who come in the energy of divine justice where some may say just who they are, you know, you can meet people and how you treat them can return in a very justful way. And that's what I really see playing out on so many levels with people, where they could have had an opportunity to be supportive and don't realize it could have came back tenfold, and they missed that opportunity. Or, you know, people are so self-righteous and they're caught up in their own ways where they could have done certain things, and guess what? They chose to collect more karma rather than to clear that out and to be honest and through integrity. I'm telling you, man, y'all don't have to believe shit, but hey, watch how you see stuff play out in the world on a global scale and so forth, where people had the opportunity to do the righteous thing. And the righteous always prevail. I don't care what it looks like, the illusion that's been given, the righteous always prevail. That's why it really pays attention, or it pays literally internal, like the spiritual currency. It really pays to walk in integrity and walk in authenticity. Because a part of that is holding yourself accountable and loving yourself. So, you know, it was a process getting here where I had to learn to hold space with myself so I appreciate and have gratitude and no longer take advantage of myself. Because I realized certain behaviors, who am I taking advantage of when I don't be honest with myself first? So remember that. Y'all take care of yourself. Peace and blessings. Shalom.